We ended the Paleozoic period with a sad note because after the prolific Cambrian explosion, the Permian period was ended by an extinction event which killed 95% of life forms. Now we are starting anew. So we are starting a new era, and that is the Mesozoic era. So this era, of course, is very exciting because dinosaurs roamed the land. So this is the age or the era of the dinosaurs. So dinosaurs evolved, as did organisms such as the giant squid-like creatures called ammonites. So for those who are not familiar of what an ammonite is, it's already here in the middle of the screen. So an ammonite is like a squid with an outer shell, and they still exist up until to this day. There are a few, but they still exist. So they are like living fossils. During this time as well, flowering plants evolved. If you can recall, during the our Paleozoic era, plants have already entered the land during the Silurian, and more plants proliferated in the Carboniferous period. However, the flowering plants entered late during the Mesozoic era. So birds, since we have dinosaurs, birds also evolved, and insects started to evolve with our flowering plants. At the end of the Mesozoic era, of course, as you know, it will end with another extinction event, and it will be replaced by mammals. But before we go to the ending, let's take a look at what had happened in their life. So the first period during the Mesozoic era, there's only three, by the way, so it's very easy to remember. So you have TJC, so Triassic. So during the Triassic period, Pangea began to split apart. Reptiles dominated the Earth. Earliest mammals and dinosaurs appeared. So see, mammals already existed in the Triassic period. However, of course, they were dominated by the dinosaurs. You have your formal conifers, and then your corals. Modern corals also appeared. So things started to become familiar, I think. From the human perspective, things started to get familiar during the Triassic because you have your mammals and dinosaurs. There are now conifers. And then you have your normal corals. And then the Pangea. So before the Triassic period, there were just supercontinents. Mostly supercontinents have formed in our planet, but now the continents started to split as our mantle cools down. Okay, so followed the Triassic was followed by our Jurassic. Okay, so the dinosaurs already existed in the Triassic, but they were small. Okay, but they started to multiply and even grow in size. So the first birds and dinosaurs started to first birds appeared, and dinosaurs and flying reptiles, the Pterosaurs, are common. So the Pterosaurus, that's why it's separated, because Pterosaurus is not considered as a dinosaur. It's a long debate in between the scientific community if they are considered as a dinosaur or not. But well, as for now, they are called flying reptiles, the Pterosaurus. So by the way, our birds did not evolve from the flying reptiles. You would think that, since they're flying already, so they should follow become birds eventually. Actually, the birds evolved from land dinosaurs. So the land dinosaurs, some of the land dinosaurs had feathers, and that eventually led to birds. So Pterosaurus is not the bird's ancestor. So the dinosaurs and similar organisms have gained the ability to fly during the Jurassic, but the biggest dinosaurs didn't enter the stage until the Cretaceous. So really, this is the time wherein they dominated our planet. So dinosaurs dominated Earth. The first grasses, so grasses didn't exist before the Cretaceous period, and flowering plants appeared. So late in the Mesozoic era, you have grasses and flowering plants. and then of course your extinction event. Okay, so just to clarify and to correct the Jurassic Park, the Tyrannosaurus Rex did not exist until the Cretaceous, because the T-Rex is very big. So the biggest of the dinosaurs have appeared in the Cretaceous. So during the Mesozoic era, the climate of our planet was very warm, even warmer than it is today. So it's alright to be a reptile. So the biggest, of course, so Triassic and Jurassic, there were dinosaurs, but they grew and grew in size. And the biggest dinosaurs roamed our planet in the Cretaceous. So the T-Rex is from the Cretaceous, not the Jurassic. Okay, although if you are looking at it in the movie franchise perspective, like Cretaceous Park sounds boring than the Jurassic Park. So, but still, it's not scientifically correct. The T-Rex occupied our planet in the Cretaceous. So, aside from the T-Rex was actually quite small in comparison to the other dinosaurs. So, you have your normal human being here saying hi. So, human beings in comparison will not survive. We're snacks in comparison to the biggest dinosaurs. So you will see here in gray, where's my marker? It's gone now. Anyway, so the biggest dinosaur here, the T-Rex is not the biggest dinosaur. So you can see it's quite dwarfed by the other dinosaur. So you have the Argentinosaurus, which is an herbivore. So it just eats plants. And then you also have the Sauroposeidon, which is even taller. Okay. So the Sauroposeidon and the Argentinosaurus, they sort of compete of which one is the bigger. But sadly, so these ones, the Argentinosaurus, the Sauroposeidons, the Pterosaurs, Patagotitans, so these are herbivores and they exist in herds. So they stick together. So imagine like really, really large, like as long as two-wheeler trucks, like put together. So imagine a lot of these just going through a hunting ground or like a nesting ground. You might be thinking, why are they so big? Well, it's an evolutionary advantage, because if you're that big, no one would dare fight you. So even the T-Rex is frightened of the Argentinosaurus. The T-Rex could maybe eat the babies or the growing Argentinosaurus, but it won't dare fight a full-grown Argentinosaurus. So sadly, we don't have much of their fossils, because even if they are so big, their bones were not as heavy. Their bones are similar to birds, which has air pockets. So even if they are so big, they are lighter in reference, because the Argentinosaurus could weigh about 77 to 100 tons, but still in comparison to their mass, their bones are lighter than those of a T-Rex. Okay, so sadly they didn't survive because, as we said, the Mesozoic era has been closed by the Cretaceous extinction event. So the Cretaceous extinction event is the famous one that you already know, when a large meteorite have impacted or like our planet. So we have evidence of this at the Mexico. So the crater hit Mexico at the Trixolov crater. So this is the world's third largest impact crater, and where the fate of the dinosaurs was sealed. So the two other impact craters didn't do much because they happened before life existed. So mostly during most of our crater sites have occurred during the heavy bombardment, but this one happened during the Cretaceous period. So you have here Mexico in the Chicxulub crater. Okay, so buried beneath thousands of feet of limestone in the Yucatan Peninsula are the remains of an impact so great that it wiped out over half of the Earth's species. So still not as bad as the Cambrian, because the Cambrian, or the Permian one rather. So the Permian extinction, 95%. So this over half, not bad. Still bad, but still, like, in comparison, it's not worse. The Chicxulub crater, named after the village which lies near its center, spans over 110 miles wide, with about half of it resting below the Gulf of Mexico. With a force of 100 million megatons of TNT, 2 million times stronger than the most powerful man-made bomb, it crashed into our planet and created devastating consequences for both dinosaurs and all other life. Okay, so the Chicxulub impact crater here is 110 miles, or to make it more familiar, that's 177 kilometers wide. So imagine like a meteorite speeding through space and suddenly hitting our planet. So what are the effects? So first, there were shock waves. So the shock waves itself, like the impact itself. So the shock wave rippled outward from the site, triggering earthquakes and volcanic eruptions across the world. In the oceans, the explosion unleashed mega tsunamis measuring thousands of meters high. Massive amounts of debris from the impactor, so from the meteorite itself, and the Earth were kicked up into the atmosphere and beyond. Some of the larger ejected chunks came speeding back down, igniting in the atmosphere and setting off global firestorms. Meanwhile, the sky darkened as a cloud of dust covered the Earth, blocking sunlight and preventing photosynthesis for years. So, very tragic. Shock waves, earthquake, volcanic eruptions, mega tsunamis, global firestorms happening. So aside from the local force, or the local disasters that was triggered by the Chicxulub impact crater, so it triggered global firestorm. So that in itself would allow like the formation of dust in the atmosphere, and also because of the volcanic eruption, carbon dioxide increasing in the atmosphere, dust covering the planet and blocking sunlight. So sadly, even if our larger friends or the herbivores would survive such great an impact, because the planet was covered by dust, there wouldn't be much plants surviving, and our herbivores of course relies on plants, and they died out. So without the herbivores, the carnivores would soon follow, and our big dinosaur friends weren't able to survive. Okay, so that would actually show you the 5 mass extinction events. That's the last one. Okay, the Cretaceous Tertiary extinction event. So as stated here, asteroid impact followed by volcanic activity and falling sea levels. So you have widespread fires, plants cannot do photosynthesis because of a global ash cloud, and there were like a nuclear fallout because suddenly the world started to cool down. So during the Mesozoic era, the planet was very warm, but because the planet was covered by ash, there is also a cloud of dust blocking sunlight, there is no photosynthesis, and our planet started to cool down. So a similar event, we know that this would result to a cooling down effect, because a similar thing happened when I think that was in Malaysia or Indonesia, like a large volcano called Krakatoa erupted during within our Earth's history, and it triggered a mini ice age, which led to the famine in Europe. So that's a small event, like one small volcanic eruption, much much more for an asteroid impact, which triggered volcanic eruptions. Okay, so let's just go through the 5 mass extinction events. So there were other extinction events beside from the Permian and the Cretaceous one that we have mentioned. So there were during the Ordovician because of the rapid global cooling, in the Devonian, possibly because of an asteroid impact as well, but there were also rapid global cooling. Okay, so you already know this during the Permian, the global warming. The Triassic, again by global warming. Okay, and then here, the final one is the Cretaceous one. Okay, so let's stop there since we have closed the Mesozoic era, and then we'll open the next video with the Cenozoic era.